jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Man, that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
What's good, everyone? WCS back on the boulevard once again. And you already know the first in the building is Michael Johnson Boxing Talking More. What it do? What's good? Appreciate you pulling up, man. It's always a pleasure. Big shout out to the supporters, man. Those of you who tune in to the channel and support the channel, hit the like button. You already know by now, if you've been tuning in enough, that you're in the right place. You know what I'm saying? So let's get down to the boogie, down to it. So recently, Teddy Atlas was on record once again, doing what Teddy Atlas does every now and then. And that is, speak and involve himself with some type of controversy. Now, let's understand one thing. This is not the first time he's been a part of something that's not favorable. All right. The one thing I would say about Teddy, who's in his 60s now, is that he's been around boxing for so long, having worked with 18 world champions, been back there in the Customado days, right? If I was in his position, I wouldn't always try to create a positive mental picture either, especially when it comes to boxing. I wouldn't do it. Listen to what I'm telling you all. If I was in Teddy Atlas' position, I would not try to create a positive mental picture either when it comes to the sport of boxing. Are we literally taking what Teddy Atlas said for scripture? This man has been on record so many times. You know what I'm saying? This man has spewed hypocrisy so many times. He's been around countless upon countless fighters. Do you believe what he said about Shakur Stevenson is any different than what he said in the past? Should we take a look at what he said about Shakur Stevenson as being, a less than entertaining fighter? Should we take it for scripture? Or should we just say, well, this is some unbeknownst to us. This kind of took us off guard for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Should we take it? What brings you to the point of understanding that Teddy Atlas has never been in this position before in his life? He's been a somewhat eccentric type person. We shouldn't pretty much linger on his words, so to speak, because the man's been around for a long time. He's suffered a lot of trauma. You know what I'm saying? He's just been around boxing so much. He's heard everything that you need to hear. But when he talks about Shakur Stevenson being a fighter that's less than entertaining, you have to understand this. Everybody has fighters that they will have no problem checking the box. We have no problem speaking in good faith, speaking with a positive, delightful tone, just like he was doing when it came to Lomachenko. Teddy Atlas was bigging Lomachenko up like no other. You would think Lomachenko was still undefeated when Teddy Atlas was talking. You would think Lomachenko never had the opportunity to fight professionally and don't have those fights recorded until he decided to turn professional. And then they was going to start recording the right moment. Like they allowed Lomachenko to come here at the perfect time and attempt to give him a championship fight in his second professional fight. They was going to give him a championship. And it didn't happen for him. They wanted to set Lomachenko up for history. They wanted this man to be something so unique that no one in the history of the sport can be online with Lomachenko when he achieved that credential. But it didn't work out for him. You know what I'm saying? He was in there with the seasoned vet in Orlando Salido, and he said, not today. But why do you think that Teddy Atlas took it upon himself to speak on Shakur Stevenson the way he did? Let's look at one of these tweets, right? He said, but as I've said with Fury, Canelo, Joshua, I no longer want to see Stevenson with these hand-picked opponents fight top guys. Now, I'm starting to question if Teddy Atlas, left the milk in the refrigerator too long. You know what I'm saying? Is there something in your food? You know what I'm saying? Did you cook some boiled eggs 3 weeks ago and you just basically munching off them when you know damn well they spoil and the salmonella has risen a little bit higher than it used to be? In that particular egg, they smell rotten, they look rotten, but you're still nibbling on something's going on here. Because Stevenson fought Jamel Herring. You know what I'm saying? Won the title. Not only that, he wanted to do big things once he got that title. He wanted to do big things. He wanted to go ahead and show and prove that he was special. And he was that guy. He was the emperor of boxing, right? So he goes up here and gets his opportunity to fight Jamel Herring back in October 2021. And it was down here in Atlanta. And he went to the 10th round with Jamel Herring before the fight was stopped. And that was at 130 pounds. All right. Not only that, because we have to totally understand something. We have to totally understand that this wasn't the first division that Shakur Stevenson chose to get a championship at. That means he was striving for greatness immediately to try to put some divisions away as he's going along. Not every fighter can say they did that, but Shakur Stevenson has been able to do it. When he stepped in there with Joet Gonzalez, people's not going to look at Gonzalez as a world beater, but he was able to fight Joet Gonzalez for a vacant WBO world featherweight title. So let's hopscotch back up to when he fought Jamel Herring, right? So after him deciding to, defend the title, and then, not defend the title, win the title, and then go up to the next division, which was super featherweight, to win another title. It didn't take him that long to get in position with Jamel Herring to make that happen. There was some delays, you know what I'm saying? Jamel Herring had to go over there and fight Frampton. And, it seemed like Shakur Stevenson was kind of in limbo a little bit. So when he did have the opportunity, he got the job done in the 10th round. He didn't want to stop there. And this is at super featherweight. He went up there and fought Oscar Valdez, who, in a lot of people's opinion, was coming off one of the most lethal, punishing, knockouts, that we've looked at in that division in a long time. Like he really fought a guy that was considered, with one loss, to be one of the toughest fighters in that division. Like it was well respected that Miguel Burchelt was him. Oscar Valdez went in there and picked up the WBC title. Oscar Valdez too earned a second chip in a second division. He defends it through controversy, popping positive on all this stuff, and they line him up with Shakur Stevenson after trying to put Emmanuel Navarrete into the equation. Shakur Stevenson accepted the title shot to unify. He goes over there and he gets the job done with Oscar Valdez. I was at the fight. He dominated Oscar Valdez. He dominated. The difference between Oscar Valdez and Yoshino is that Oscar Valdez was a much better quality, a much more quality boxer than Yoshino. And also, he had been a world champion, a respectable world champion that, people was really paying attention to this fight for them to step in the square. But Shakur Stevenson pretty much frustrated Oscar Valdez and made it look quite simple for a championship fight. People was thinking that Valdez was going to land that one window. You know what I'm saying? He was going to be able to crack that window with one of those same shots that he caught Miguel Berchelt, and it never happened. You know why? Because Shakur is that smart. He's very educated. He's aware. Shakur Stevenson, a lot of what he does inside the square constitutes what the sweet sign is. We have a lot of fighters that's a part of the sweet signs, y'all. We have a lot of fighters, but I'm talking about Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson gives you that sweet signs etiquette. Why don't we appreciate when boxers are boxing and giving you the sweet signs etiquette is beneath me. But you talk about the sweet signs, y'all, people talk about how much they love boxing, but I don't think people love to see boxing. They pick and choose. They want to be entitled. They want to fancy whatever makes them feel good. What do they want? I don't know what boxing fans want. I don't know, because in 1 minute you criticize a fighter with power, with no technical skills, no technique. You know what I'm saying? But yet you get a fighter with technique that lacks the one punch knockout power or what have you. And then you try to say, well, they're boxing and they're not entertaining. And then you just get fighters that don't have that stick 'em. They don't have that TNT. They don't have that out of nowhere. You get that shock and awe value that they're going to knock out their opponent. It's a lot of fighters in the sport that don't have it. But what they can do, some of them can box. Some of them can box, and that is what the sweet signs consist of. There's no one definition for the sweet signs, because a lot of boxers come from different areas and they're taught by different trainers. And depending on how those trainers came up in the sport, that's what you're going to see as far as the performances goes with these fighters in the square. All of them are not going to be the same. But we must understand there's no one definition. There's no template. There's no standard operating procedure. There's no set criteria for the sweet signs. It's just impossible. Who would have thought Ricardo Mayorga, a fighter who is just a street brawler, who would have thought at that point in time that, Ricardo Mayorga, who used to smoke in the ring, and I'm pretty sure the people in Nicaragua, they love the way he used to come in and all brash, you know what I'm saying? Just let his bravado, wear that bravado on his sleeve, bro. And he used to just go against the grain smoking cigs. You know what I'm saying? He used to smoke cigs, bro. He used to give you everything that they tell a boxer not to do when you're trying to be the best, man. But truth be told, why couldn't Shane Mosley defeat this man? Why couldn't Shane Mosley defeat him? And Shane Mosley considerably consisted of the sweet signs. You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't I mean, I'll take that back. I'll take that back. Why couldn't Ricardo Mayorga defeat Shane Mosley? Because Shane Mosley could box, and pretty much a lot of people consider him to have the sweet science, right? That he was technically sound as a fighter. And he fought and he boxed at a higher level. He could box. Shane Mosley didn't have, this incredible power, but he had power. He did. He had power. He hurt Floyd. I mean, Shane Mosley was a problem. Why couldn't Ricardo Mayorga beat Shane Mosley? Styles make fights. Shane was just too technically sound and smart for Ricardo Mayorga. But what I was trying to say earlier when I cross-threaded my thoughts, right? Why couldn't Vernon Forrest, my guy, why couldn't Vernon Forrest beat Ricardo Mayorga? Because he too was technically sound in the sweet science. He too could box. Why couldn't Vernon Forrest beat Ricardo Mayorga? Because he too could box like Shakur Stevenson. Mayorga couldn't beat Shane, but he could beat Vernon Forrest, who beat Sugar Shane. You understand? Mayorga couldn't beat Sugar Shane Mosley, but he could beat Vernon Forrest, who beat Sugar Shane. How does that sweet science work out? And that's one of my most perfect examples, that I can use when it comes to the sweet science. Ricardo Mayorga was able to go in a welterweight fighter like Sugar Shane Mosley and lose twice, man. And lose twice. And the wild part about him losing twice to Sugar Shane Mosley was what? That he had already defeated Vernon Forrest. Vernon Forrest was a technically astute boxer. Mayorga had already beat Vernon Forrest, so why not go in there and fight Sugar Shane Mosley? He loses twice to Sugar Shane Mosley, who could not defeat Vernon Forrest. How does that work in the encyclopedia of sweet science? How does that triangular theory works in this case? When it comes to Shakur Stevenson, isn't he a boxer? Isn't Shakur Stevenson considered a technically astute, educated, with high ring IQ boxer? So what more do someone like Teddy Atlas want to happen? What do you want to happen with a fighter like Shakur Stevenson, who is giving you the suit that you want these fighters to wear? You want them to be poised, composed. You want them to box with the etiquette, with the fundamentals. You want them to box in that manner. You want them to go out there and make it look easy. And making it look easy for every fighter is not the way, we can look at everyone and say, okay, they can do it just like Shakur Stevenson. No, they don't. Shakur Stevenson makes it look easy as early as he wanted to. He's not trying to sit up here and listen to how many cheers and how many boos. He's going to go in there and he's going to delegate his boxing curriculum to his opposition. That's how Shakur Stevenson gets down with the sweet science. So when we have a tri-theory with Sugar Shane Mosley, Ricardo Mayorga, and Vernon Forrest, and the fact that Ricardo Mayorga was able to earn 2 back-to-back victories over Vernon Forrest, who can box. He could box. And he had decent power. He can box, bro. Vernon Forrest could box. But he couldn't beat a Nicaraguan smoker, a guy who was smoking cigs in the ring, wild. You know what I'm saying? Leave his hand down, basically antagonize his opposition, to come in there and hit him on the chin with his hands down, put his hands behind his back. He did all that. He didn't care. But Vernon Forrest had to think to himself, how can I not beat a guy that's so fundamentally flawed? And then you get with Sugar Shane Mosley, and he defeats Ricardo Mayorga later on, of course, later on up the road. He defeats Ricardo Mayorga twice. But yet, when Sugar Shane fought Vernon Forrest, Sugar Shane lost. It's a weird dynamic when you hear people like Teddy Atlas criticize Shakur Stevenson when not every fighter. Let's take every division and you take 3 fighters, the top 3 fighters that you believe that's in that division. Then we take out of those 3 fighters and you name a cool 2 fighters who have knockout power. Now, of course, let's just go all the way up to 60. We can go up to 60 because they always say the heavier the division, the harder they hit and so forth. But let's just go at the middleweight division, the freaking closet division. You know what I'm saying? The trailer home division. You know what I'm saying? You pick the top 3 fighters and see what exactly is going on with the power aspect of it. Gennady Golovkin, according to who he fight, he don't have no crazy one punch knockout power. He doesn't. Jamal Charlo doesn't have crazy one punch knockout power. But if you take both of these fighters, Gennady Golovkin, Jamal Charlo, what can you say? Both of them can box, right? So what's the difference with Shakur? Why is Teddy Atlas choosing to go in so harshly on Shakur Stevenson? Because his opponent was pretty much a softie. You know what I'm saying? But yet, let's understand one thing. Boxing cannot continue to feed boxers, fighters that's supposed to be at the top of the food chain that refuse to sign the contract, that refuse to entertain that fighter. Fighters, we can't finger point and find an easy target and say, you know what? The reason why this was boring was because of who he was in there with. Well, guess what? Try putting some prerequisites on getting a boxing license and stop making it so easy for anybody to come into the sport. And then you wouldn't have fighters in there that's able to build up their record to 10-0, 15-0, 20-0, and they haven't fought nobody. You have military. You have different type of military in the world today, right? And you have soldiers that go to combat. That doesn't mean if you had hand-to-hand fighting, right? And you took the U.S. military and you put them in there with the Korean military in a ground fight, hand-to-hand combat, or you put them in there with Chinese, or you put them in there with Russian, you put them in there with any other country, right? It doesn't mean just because we in the U.S. and we have all these martial arts school and we have that we're gonna have total success in going in there defeating these guys in hand-to-hand ground combat. I can tell you a fact that's not the case. So that's why the wars are fought different. You know what I'm saying? You understand what the fundamentals are for your MOS. You understand what your position is, what your responsibility is, and that's how you go about it. Shakur Stevenson understand what his responsibility is. His responsibility is to go in there and hit and not get hit. That definition right there didn't go out the window just because Floyd Mayweather retired. Teddy Atlas goes on to say, boxing, Stevenson not a puncher or a great finisher, but terrific slick boxer. Truth. So I'm asking myself, right? And shout out to everyone that's in the chat, man. Let me get to those in the chat. Big Blunts and Boxing on deck. What's good with the Blunts? Toby Bartlett on deck. Salute to you across the pond. Big shout out. Bill's Boot Camp on deck. King Mitch on deck. Salute to you. I mean, yeah, we're not even like talking about the juicing aspect. We're just talking about he was able to go in there, and you're right. You're right, Michael. He did, but I'm speaking more so of the results. The results say that Ricardo Mayorga lost twice to Sugar Shane, right? But yet he was able to defeat my guy Vernon Forrest, who was able to what? Beat Sugar Shane. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't beat Ricardo Mayorga, who's deficient in boxing technique and fundamentals, but yet someone who was more proficient and advanced in boxing skills and fundamentals technically with Sugar Shane Mosley. Vernon Forrest was able to beat Sugar Shane Mosley, but he couldn't beat the same guy Sugar Shane Mosley beat in Ricardo Mayorga. It's the sweet science, man. Say Shakur last few fights has been worthy opponents. The last guy might have been tailor-made for him, but that was his first fight at 135, and the guy was undefeated. True words. True words. Shakur, did Alice say that BS about Loma handpicking all them small guys to build his resume in UK scrubs? What we know about Teddy, what I was trying to basically highlight and emphasize is that Teddy Atlas, he has been, known to say some very controversial, stuff about fighters. He's been on record as being unfavorable about his selection, his carefully selected fighter, where he want to talk good on or bad about. We understand that. And then he's been on record as providing extreme adulation for certain fighters, like the type of adulation that we can't join him in the clapping session. We're like, what? What did you say? I can't believe you said that. What? That type of stuff. Like, he made Vasyl Lomachenko out to be this anomaly. You know what I'm saying? He made him out to be this anomaly. Like Vasyl Lomachenko was created from a factory. Like he's the epitome of a fighter that you would have on the wall, and you would want everybody to take a look at the first time they walk into the gym and say, if it's anybody you ever want to be like in your boxing career, that's him right there. Look at him. Look at him. That poster glows, don't it? I don't know why. It's no light shining. I don't have any other light shining, but it seems like every time you look at it, it glows. That's how God gifted. That's how special. That's how I say he's anointed. You know what I'm saying? That's the way people was giving Lomachenko all this credit. And to be honest, when Jorge Linares caught him in the 6th round and sat him down with the right hand, I just wanted to check out Loma's facial expression, because I've been on record. Nobody can tell me otherwise. I've been on record as saying Lomachenko was overrated, right? He was just overrated with all the hype that's put on him. But when it comes to Shakur Stevenson being as young as he is, being a 2-weight world champion, he's liable to walk up out of here minimally, in my opinion. Minimally, I see Shakur Stevenson leaving the sport as a 5-weight world champion. A 5-weight world champion. I believe Shakur Stevenson would definitely get a belt at 135. And let's just say he doesn't get it, a belt at 135. I could see it at 140. You know what I'm saying? 47. And potentially, when he gets to the back end of his career, 54. Because it gets a little stale at 54 and 60. Even at 68. But that's so far up the road. I would say, for me, minimally, I think he's going to be a 5-weight world champion. But back to the task at hand, right? Teddy Atlas chooses to criticize Shakur Stevenson and basically compliment him on the back end, right? He say, He's not a puncher or a great finisher, but he compliments him on the back end and say, but a terrific slick boxer. So if you're a terrific slick boxer and you slick like Castro, right? You have the bow tie of hit and not get hit. You wear it well. That's how you come to the ring dressed. People understand that you all about hit and not get hit. How can you not justify that? How can you not say, I want to give this man the praise he deserved for working with the sweet science and the fundamentals and being technically astute, proficient in his craft? How can you say he's boring? I mean, what do we want every fighter to do? Just because they have an O, we want to see how quick it takes for them to take a L? And then when they take a L, you say, oh man, we thought, we wish, but no, they're not the goods. They took a L in the worst way. He was dropped. He got up. Yeah. Not what we thought he was, but he'll get better if he stay with the sport and go back to the drawing board. But yeah, he picked up his first loss. I saw it was bound to happen. No, that's not the case, bro. Whoever beats Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion, is going to have to outbox him. And they're going to have to enforce themselves. They're going to have to enforce their authority and disrupt the rhythm that Shakur Stevenson has. They're going to have to break up some of his comfort zones that he's so proficient in right now to get a win over him. Shakur Stevenson knows how to box. He knows how to box, man. Everybody can't go in here as they continue to build their competition and continue to knock out those guys. The better the competition gets, guess what? They're going to be able to be defensively minded just like Shakur Stevenson is. So the knockouts are not going to come easy like that. You know, Gervonta Davis has went the distance twice. But the man has a KO percentage in the 90 percentile. In the 90 percentile. So since he has something in the 90 percentile, you know, if you look at on paper, you would say somebody like Isaac Cruz, right, wouldn't go the distance with Tank. But the sweet science said at that point in time, he had a solid enough defense and an IQ, you know, from studying the film on Tank on how they wanted to go about this fight. So if they could sustain their defense, right, and they could defend against Tank Davis's uppercut and any of his power punches, right? If they can just make sure their high guard is ironclad, you know what I'm saying, and they keep a visual and make sure they can, you know, stay composed enough to possibly get the timing down, they figured they can possibly land a shot on Tank Davis sooner or later in a 12-round fight. That was their mindset. They know the defense was there. They know that was going to be adequate. They practiced on it. Isaac Cruz was short and compact. They knew that would be there. They didn't want to get knocked out. They wanted to hang around long enough to land a counter shot on Tank and hope it lands to the point where they can open it up and have some type of success like he did against Diego Magdaleno. You know what I'm saying? Any possibility. But if you got a slick boxer, isn't that a part of the sweet science? Yes, it is. It's absolutely a huge, intricate part of the sweet science when people say you are a slick boxer. So tell me what part of Amazon says that you can go up there and order power. Hey, I want to go to this section right here. Yeah. Hey, get bulk. Let's buy in bulk this time. You know what I'm saying? Because we need about, let me see, per fight, 12-round fight, we need to take about 8 tablets. Yeah, about 8 tablets for 12 rounds, right? Yeah. And it's not going to pop on the test? Okay. It's not like they have an Amazon where you can order those tablets that you take for a 12-round fight that is legal, that's going to give you power, that's going to give you above average power, and it's legal. It won't pop. It's just not a department out there for fighters to go order that off Amazon. So pretty much what I'm saying is they have to pretty much work on what they've been born with, what they've been gifted with, and then what's above their shoulders. Their mental blade have to continue to be sharpened so they can go in there and be proficient in what they do. So Teddy Atlas want to criticize Shakur Stevenson. Well, he has to go up here and criticize other fighters the same. There's a lot of fighters out there that can box. Man, I'm talking about it's a lot of fighters out there that can box. Because look, I would tell Teddy, with all respect, bro, with all respect, man, I respect where you've been in your boxing career. I respect who you are as a person. I'm not saying respect him personally because I don't know him personally, but what you've been, the journey you've been a part of in boxing, I respect you for that. But I would say, bro, Teddy, listen to me. You have been around fighters when they was in their prime and you was there to see them compete, right, Teddy? So therefore, when those fighters, some of the fighters, not all of them, but some of the fighters, when they decide to hang up the gloves and they was dead broke and they couldn't really do anything else in their life because they was punchy. They was at the early stage of pugilistica, right? What went through your mind, Teddy? Did you assess them and say, hey, if you would have had better defense when you was fighting, if you would have been a slicker fighter like Shakur Stevenson, who wasn't even born at the time, you know what I'm saying? I don't know who this guy is, but I heard about him. You know, I heard he's gonna come into the sport. He's gonna be an Olympian and all that. And you know, I had a premonition. Are you gonna tell them when they're out the sport, punchy, slurred speech, that they should have worked on their defense? They shouldn't have got hit as much as they did. No, Teddy is not going to tell them that, because back then boxing was, they wanted to see somebody get punched in the face. They wanted to see somebody get punched in the face. They wanted to see an entertaining fight. And then there was a lot of betting on the fight back then. You know what I'm saying? They had to sell it. It was just so much going on. It's so much going on today also. But fighters today, if they don't know, now they know. And I'm gonna tell you again, I'm pretty sure Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz and Moore would tell you. Boxing has no medical retirement plan for these fighters. Once again, boxing has no retirement plan, no medical benefits for these fighters. So when you hear somebody like Teddy Atlas criticize fighters for not being entertaining, or you don't want to see them in there, you just want to see them get touched up. You want to see them go through adversity. I get it. Because, you know what I'm saying, they look for challenge and controversy to determine the testament of a man. You know what I'm saying? Challenge and controversy. Not comfort and convenience, challenge and controversy. So when it comes down to boxing, and these fighters are choosing to hit and not get hit because there's no retirement plan, there's no benefits, why would they go in there and bang out every freaking fight? It's pointless to think that these fighters themselves haven't ran into some of the old school OGs that have slurred speech, some of the greats that fought back then, and they have that slurred speech. Why wouldn't that motivate them to go in there and work on their defense and hit and not get hit? You tell me. Mitch said, I think Shakur is a solid finisher. I don't disagree with what you said. I'm just trying to decipher what Teddy Atlas could have meant about finishing, because Shakur, along with a lot of other fighters in that stable over there, they are learning how to master distance. All right. They are learning, like if you see Terrence Crawford and the Jeff Horn fight, if you see him with several other fights, but I'm just talking about the much bigger fighter, and they thought he was going to bully him and all that. These fighters are learning how to master adequate distance without exerting too much energy doing so. They want to be at close range so much that they make it about a matter of inches. When their opponent throws that punch, they're missing just a matter of inches, and they're able to counter shot. I mean, pull counter, counter punch, whatever you want to call it. They're able to return fire in a timely manner without closing from an extreme amount of distance. Their reset is short and quick. That means they're not even abusing their range. They're utilizing their range effectively. They're making their opponent miss by mere inch. I mean, I'm talking about very close to the point where they can immediately return a counter punch to their opponent. And that's what Shakur Stevenson is doing. He's bending at the waist a lot. He's not really, and sometimes Shakur Stevenson don't even move his feet when he's trying to slip a punch or avoid a punch. He just basically lean back at the waist. He got the distance. He understands what the distance is with his opposition. Teddy should know that. Teddy should understand the amount of fighters that he grew up around, how messed up they were when they got out the sport and was dead broke because their career ended a bit quicker. And then when it ended, being that they were punchy, they had early signs of pugilistic or the dementia. They wasn't of any value to anyone if they was to work. They're not going to hire a grown adult that box all their life and hire them on, and they are forgetting things, and they're not being able to basically function as some of the younger employees. It's tough. And then, okay, let's just say this. Let's make this example. You take a boxer and put them in the gym that used to be a great. Now you have the younger generation coming in, and they have to basically be consistent with training them. You have to ask yourself, is it going to pay them enough money to survive if it's not their gym? If it's not their gym, if they're not making money off sponsorships and people who really truly want to support them, is it their gym? Are they making residual income enough to support themselves? A lot of times that's not the case. That's not the case. What's going on, Alexander? How you feel, bro? I look at this with Teddy Atlas is just like I do with Andre Ward and Timothy Bradley. In order for these individuals to bring some type of traction and attention to them, a lot of times you would hear them say something that's way off the mark. You know what I'm saying? They want to bring that negative attention to them. They have to have some type of traction based off what they say. You know what I'm saying? So being that they hold down a position where they just can't go in there and look at the camera, and they're basically giving their opinion about something. Responses like this works. You see it for yourself. When Teddy Atlas say something like this, it's working because I'm not the only one that's talking about it. A lot of people are talking about what he said. A lot of people are having their own opinion. dropped out, Bruce. I don't know why, but I dropped out. But Shakur Stevenson, what he's able to do is demonstrate that he does have a high sense of boxing IQ. He understands exactly what is going on. He boxes at a high level. No one can say that Shakur Stevenson is an elite fighter. We're talking about an Olympic champion, silver standard, right? So we can't look at these Olympians and what they was able to achieve, even if they got the silver. We can't just downplay it as if gold automatically says you're going to have one of these outstanding careers. You can't say that. We can't deny the fact that Shakur Stevenson is going out here performing at a high level, so much to the fact that it's considered to be elite. He's one of the elite fighters of boxers in the sport, period. I enjoy seeing these fighters go out here and box and hit and not get hit. Now, it does have some names out here or some fighters that are not entertaining. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's some fighters that really, really play it safe. You know what I'm saying? They're really just try to box and reset, box, you know, combination here and there, reset, you know, and they're extremely boring fighters. Even I would go on a limb to say Paulie Malignaggi, right? He possesses much power as a freaking pigeon's feather, right? But Paulie, he fought as best as he could. He fought. He wasn't no punk. You know what I'm saying? He didn't possess that punching power, but Paulie fought. I think it's messed up that boxing fans today, not all of us, of course, but boxing fans look at these fighters as expendable. You know what I'm saying? They're collateral damage at the end of the day, because us, the consumers, we come to the fights to watch them perform, and we go there with the mentality as if the money that we're paying to see them, it gives us a right to criticize them and tell them what they need to be doing. These are fighters that are splitting the ropes with wrapped hands, gloves, and they're going in there with a mouthpiece and taking the punishment. But as consumers, it seems to me that more and more these boxing fans are acting like they, you know, are very, very entitled, like they can provide their input in the most critical nature. They can scrutinize every bit of what these fighters doing, and they're not going in there for one sparring session with these fighters. They're not going on one run. They ain't hitting one bag. They're not carrying one spit bucket, y'all. They're not going to the gyms and smelling the must. They're not close enough to the apron to feel every now and then the sweat. They're not doing that shit. But just because they pay for a fight or they're around the sport and they have their type of fighter, they'll criticize a fighter for not giving them what they believe they should. Oh, man, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to see that. Yeah, he makes it look easy, but no, I don't want to make it look easy. What? What do you mean you don't want to make it look easy? He's showing you he is a high level. He's a master boxer on the elite level. He is a sweet science, and he is a sweet science in itself. You don't want him to participate and demonstrate you the sweet science, yet and still you want him to go in here and act like he's below the sweet science label and get hurt, knocked out, knocked down, so he can prove that he can get off the canvas and fight on to win. Come on, bro. Come on, man. That's not the way it's supposed to be, bro. That's not the way it's supposed to be. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not the way. If I'm just sitting up here processing it, man, you know, that's not the way it's supposed to be. People can derive their own conclusions as to how they want to fight the end, but they can't sit up here and tell you, and they're going to be confident that when that particular fighter, you know, fights his last round, they're going to be there to basically set them up for life with a retirement plan, medical benefits, and everything else. They can't give you that. They can sit up here and talk all this talk while a fighter is stepping through the ropes. They can give you everything you want to hear. Oh man, I'm gonna support this fighter. This fighter, I'm gonna go see that fight. That's one of my favorite fights. They can tell you everything. When that fighter is in their prime. But when that fighter get ready to retire, they don't have no freaking retirement package for them. They're not coming out their own pocket. It's not like, I know it's people out there that's been trying to set up retirement plans and been trying to basically establish unions. You're talking about a sport that has no regulation now. If boxing at least had regulation and also one commission, president, so forth, then maybe we might move in a direction where fighters can get retirements, if they take a percentage of their purse and basically buy in, just like when you have employment and you put in the Social Security. Maybe if that was the case, but you have so many people that's making money off of unregulated sport from all twists and turns, all alleyways. It's going to be a long time before boxing is regulated. And like the conversation was mentioned the other day, right? The UFC merged with the WWE. The Endeavor purchased, the same people who purchased UFC purchased WWE, right? For some insane lucrative amount. For boxing, it can't happen because there's too many entities that will say, I'm worth this. Top Rank is going to get their value. TGB is going to get their value. Golden Boy, everybody that's participating in boxing, they're going to say, this is what I'm worth. So the people at Endeavor know they're going to have a highest price tag. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Endeavor can't do it, but it's just too many people that needs to be paid off. And who's going to be the single entity to organize this entire slate of boxing? Who's going to organize it, bro? How are we going to bring everyone together to form a commission or a governing body, president? And we're talking about the integrity of these people too. We're talking about the integrity. These individuals, what is going to be the voting system? How are they going to be voted in? What criteria do these individuals have to basically be in charge of one of the most massive changes in combat sports history? Boxing is now becoming regulated. Do you know how many changes will take place? Like regulating boxing would be like dropping a nuclear bomb, man. It would be like setting off a nuclear bomb in the US, man. A lot of people lose their life, man. How would you be able to nominate people to hold down these important positions without themselves up the line being corrupt, turning out to be corrupt? How can it happen? This is almost like impossible, people. It's impossible. It would change forever in a positive way, I believe. But if it does happen, I'm not going to be living. I'm not going to be around to see it. I'm just saying that boxing can be regulated and they can do away with all these sanctioning bodies and allow fighters to be able to fight, and make a living and be able to invest in their retirement, just like the military. You're trying to tell me that military vets can serve in the military for a certain amount of years and get retirement, right? And you're telling me that they're not in combat every day of their lives. They're working, whatever their military occupation specialty is, they're working. And then when they're not at work, they're at home with their families living a daily life, but they're not in battle every day. We're not wearing uniforms every day, but yet we're still in the military. We're still in the military, y'all. So as time go by, we start putting in months and then years and years and years. When we get to a certain amount of years, they don't calculate how many hours we actually worked in the shop. It's just all of our accumulative time in the military adds up to a retirement. So with that retirement, there are benefit packages for us. So why does it seem like it's insanely impossible for boxing not to pretty much operate off a military structure? I know it's way different. I know, because believe it or not, I'm gonna tell you something that might offend a lot of people, right? Boxers, they do sign contracts, right? And those contracts are periodically, they get paid different this, and this, right? And also in the military, we sign contracts too. It's just our contract locks us in for a long period of term than boxers. Our contracts locks us in. Let's just say we sign our first contract for our first enlistment. It might be for 4 years. Can you imagine? There are certain fighters who end up being locked in for years, but most of the time, you're signing the fight for certain amount of fights or whatever the case. But if they can allow us veterans who does have liberty with our families to operate semi like a civilian periodically, where we can get out of uniform, wear civilian clothes, go out, do what we do on liberty, where you're single or married, right? Spend time with your kids, this, and then come back to work. Now, every job doesn't consist of getting a weekend off. It all depends on what your occupation is. But long story short is, we're not in combat every month. We're not in combat every single month that we serve in the military. Just like boxers are not in the ring every single month as a professional boxer. They're not. It's not impossible, because not every military, right? You look at it this way. Who is our commander-in-chief? The commander-in-chief in the military under the federal structure is the president. That's our commander-in-chief. When you turn to boxing, what I'm saying? You take boxing. Yeah, you're commander-in-chief, but you're not binded under him, because you're not participating in a contractual federal document that locks you in to serve and protect. You're not fighting for a particular organization, so to speak, that's regulated by the federal government. That's where things changes at. They're not going to give you a severance package. They're not going to do anything for you, because the sport has no ties to the federal government. How do you want to get benefits? How do you want to organize a union? How do you want to have people go before the commission and speak and advocate for these individuals that's hanging up the gloves and they're dumbfounded and their families can't take care of them? They can't get a job. They're going through flashbacks. They have PTSD. They can't even afford medical attention. It's a cold, cold world, shawty. Regulating boxing would make it worse. The number one problem I see is real journalism is not done in boxing. So you saying regulation, and then you're talking about journalism. Okay, tie the two together. Like, you don't have to tie them together, but explain separately what you mean. You're talking about regulating boxing will make it worse. Can you provide me an explanation as to why you think it'll make it worse? Because this is the only thing I'm getting at there, Mike. I'm speaking in the sense of benefits once they hang up the gloves. How do we administratively how can we form any type of structure to be able to advocate for the fighters so that we can establish some type of union for them to get benefits at the end of the day? I just let it sit there. So back to what I was saying about Shakur Stevenson, right? is that Shakur Stevenson's boxing to hit and not get hit, so he'll never have to depend on why boxing isn't regulated and why isn't any retirement funds. Because as you all know, Shakur Stevenson take cares many family members. He has a lot of brothers and sisters, right? So therefore, the money that he makes in the ring, the way he goes about fighting in the ring is for what? Longevity. Shakur Stevens is in there to fight for longevity. He has so many family members that he is taking care of. They are dependent on him to continue to go in there and put on performance like he does with Yoshino. Now, of course, Yoshino, right? He wasn't the highest quality of opposition, but Shakur Stevenson went in there and he came out clean. He came out the way he's supposed to, untouched, unblemished, unscathed. The man went in there and boxed and stepped on him like he was supposed to and got him up out of there and on to the next. So for somebody to say that he's fighting soft touches, come on, bro. Now, there was a stint where I can see where Teddy was going with it. Let me explain to you where I think Teddy could have had an argument about boredom. All right. Hold on for a second. Mike said unions are not always good. Usually it means government involved, which is why I say good. Why I say no good. Look, we can be petty and say all cars aren't good. Every piece of food we eat aren't good. People can sit up here and say they vegan, but what detriment is it to how they are getting that type of vegan type food, that type of organic food? A lot of people tell you that organic food has a lot more saturation to it that's not good for our body than regular food. I mean, that's the same thing. Like, we know very well, man, when it comes to the human anatomy, man, we see fighters out here. When I start to interview fighters, and that's not something I enjoy doing, but I'm just saying what I learned from fighters is many areas of their personality and mood swings and all that on the fly. You know, first of all, if you get the fighter who you can barely understand, you really got to act like you understand in every word. And then you get those fighters, like I told you when I was in Cincinnati, and this boxer that fought some good big names, right? He had an episode where he was talking about something back in the day, and he just had a flashback, bro. And you know, his eyes started to glaze and everything. He said, I gotta step away, I gotta go outside. You know, his voice got different. I said, okay, cool. I wasn't able to talk to him again. You know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere. I know it's cliche as hell, but you got to start somewhere, Mike. Come on, Mike. You got to start somewhere. Look, peep this out, bro. And I don't like bringing the military because when I was in there, I just said, oh man, join the military. I was so gung-ho, join the military, brother. I wouldn't recommend everybody to join the military. I wouldn't tell people to get their kids to join the military today. I wouldn't motivate every family and household for their kid to join the military. It's not for everybody. But even in the military, you can have rank and be broke. When I had my first son, I was broke as hell. I chose to have him. I chose to get a female pregnant and have him. So I had to deal with the little money that I was making. But guess what? I was able to get the benefits. I was able to go down there, no problem, get the benefits from being in the military and have people give me the benefits is somewhat being, you know, because I was taking care of my son damn near by myself. I mean, it allows you to get the benefits. I had help periodically, but I'm just saying, like, the government being involved isn't always 100% bad. Like, you got to start somewhere and get these fighters some type of compensation when they decide to hang them up. Let's just put it this way: if a fighter could somehow, some way get a retirement stipend, a pension for the rest of their life, right? Let's just say that money was 1,500, just 1,500 a month, bro. Look, some military don't get that. $1,500 a month, right? Let's just say 1,500. That's better than zero. Not only that, what if you provided them with some type of medical benefit where they can go to the doctor and being that they put in while they was active, it allows them to only pay a certain percentage of their copay to be seen, man. Do you know how expensive healthcare is? That's why I'm kind of like speaking on the union aspect of it and everything else, because that's important to have people advocating and being able to go in front of these people and explain to them why it's important for this, and this to be effective and active at the time. It's important for us to establish this. These fighters are dying. These fighters are not getting help and dying. These fighters are coming down with dementia and dying early, you know? Jones said Teddy Atlas need to be ringside for Shakur next bout, besides Timothy Bradley. I don't disagree with Teddy because Yoshino knew how to survive. Yoshino was undefeated. It can't be that bad of an opponent. Yoshino was undefeated, wasn't he? Was Yoshino undefeated? Anybody? Yes, no? Was Yoshino undefeated? Somebody tell me, was Yoshino undefeated? Please. Y for yes, N for no. So, if by chance Yoshino was undefeated, right? If Yoshino was undefeated, but he went in there with his style and fought the way he did, and he wasn't on the level of a Shakur Stevenson, even being 16-0, and Shakur Stevenson is now 20-0. Even though they was close with the numbers when it comes to their jacket, you know what I'm saying? Their professional jacket. Who fault is it that this Japanese fighter was undefeated, but not on the level of Shakur Stevenson? Who fault is it? Who fault is it that Yoshino, majority of his professional fights was in what again? Japan. Hai dozo. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Who fault was it? Genki? Who fault was it? Nani desu. Who fault was it that Yoshino decided to come and fight Shakur Stevenson in Newark, in his hometown, undefeated? 16 victories, 0 defeats, and his fights had been over in the good old Japan. Hai dozo. Domo. Who fault is it that Yoshino was able to build up a box rec undefeated and take a trip across the water over here to Shakur Stevenson's backyard, and people looked at him as if he was unqualified, he wasn't on equal level? The whole point is, not every fighter that's considered to be a star is going to have an opponent that's equal to greater to their competition at this point. It's impossible. This is the perfect example in Yoshino. This is a perfect example. This person has fought in Japan. So you trying to tell me the tomato soup over in Japan doesn't taste like tomato soup over here in the U.S.? Hi, we serving you miso soup with tomato basil. Height. Inkla desu ka? Huh? Nani? Takashigiru? You trying to tell me the tomato soup in Japan is different than tomato soup in the U.S. when it comes to boxing resumes? You trying to tell me that the flavor is different? I thought tomatoes were tomatoes, tomato. If this man can build up a 16-0 record with tomatoes, who is to blame for him doing it all over in Japan? And then say, you know, I'm about to take a flight. I fight Shakur Stevenson. Yes, I go over there and fight Shakur Stevenson. Tough fight. I'm undefeated. He's undefeated. He's 19-0. I'm 16-0. I can do it. No. His people saying, no. It's not like Japanese. It's not like the Japanese fighters. So you're trying to tell me Japan is growing tomatoes too? If that's what y'all telling me, Japan is growing tomatoes too. Who's managing the garden over here in the U.S. and Japan? Who's managing the garden? Would you consider Yoshino an organic tomato? Was he considered an organic tomato? Or you have to go over there and look for the can. You have to go, where that can at? Where that can, his last opponent. Let me see. His last opponent. Let me see. What is the nutritional value? The facts. Okay. Low sodium. Okay, they had low sodium on there. All right. You know, pretty dang. Okay. Low sugar. You know, just that. Come on, bro. Who's managing the garden? Nobody. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. If you're not up here managing the garden, those of you in the chat, don't complain about tomatoes. Yoshino was able to taste some tomato soup in Japan 16 times. 16 times. This man was eating that high-end 5-star tomato soup for his boxing resume. Stop it, man. Teddy, stop it. You know, you've been all around the world, bro. Teddy knows how the garden look. Most boxing commissions are regulated. And look at them. And my start was real journalism. This is what I'm saying about commissions. No commission is the same. Just because a state commission is there for the boxing, that doesn't mean Florida's commission is operating on equal playing field as Georgia commission. Georgia commission isn't doing the same as North and South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? All the commissions are different. Nevada State Athletic Commission is different than a lot of them. New York Athletic State Commission, they're different. They have to be regulated, bro. Look, if they're not, you'll have anybody and everybody on the commission that's not even licensed. You just have regular people coming in and basically how you put it, fixing fights. Off, and then they'll be like, it ain't nobody to hold accountable because the commission ain't regulated. What do you want us to do? That's just like walking into a town and wondering why all of it look like broken windows. There's no funding for it and all that. People are not willing to put interest and put, attention and put their money into something. But in boxing, they're willing to put their money into something because they're going to get money back. because gambling has been around for the longest of time. Back then, they didn't need casinos to run the booking. They had bookies. It's always been corrupt. Would that same type of coverage be offered to all boxers, even the ones who can get a license off the couch, or only for elite fighters who can suffer serious injury at that level? That's a good question. Now, Blunts, that's a damn good question, Blunts. That's a good question, bro. But I'm gonna have to rephrase it. I'm gonna have to answer your question, right? Okay, so basically what you asked me, I don't have the answers to. I'm going to give you my opinion on something, right? So being that we don't have benefits, and you ask the question as open-ended, as if it's nothing that can be said about it unless it's opinionated. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to provide my opinion. Now, once again, I'm going back to the military, right? Everyone that jumps off the couch and swear in to become a U.S. service member, does that mean they are ready to go in here and be gung-ho and fight? And then like, no. You got some fit people that come into the military. You got some fat people. You got some spoiled people, and you got some gung-ho people who family was in the military. You know, they gung-ho, they hard chargers, as we call them, right? We have some people, we have some individuals that put 3 to 4 years in, and they're shit bags. They're not even considered quality service members, but they're doing enough not to get kicked out. But it's not the type of person that you would take with you into battle, right? So you look at boxing being able to allow the numbers to run up. The reason why you can get off the couch and come into boxing simply because of one, it's not regulated. All right. There is certain regions that have age limits now. It has age limits. So if boxing, in my opinion, it would have to be granted to boxers who come into the sport for a certain period of time. Just like the military, you have to serve for a certain period of time in order for you to get what, Blunts? In order for you to get retirement. Okay? In order for you to get retirement. Now, it is a way you can get medical benefits from the military and not do 20 years, not do 15 years. That is if you're injured or you medically discharged or something like that. Every case is different. I can't go into the whole case, but if you're medically discharged, you might have got injured in war, you might have faced the injury, but you know, you can get that for the rest of your life because you was injured in the military. So I'm gonna bleed that over into boxing. I'm pretty sure they can come up with some type of policy, you know, SOP or some type of literature that, depending on how long a boxer boxed and how many fights they had or something, you would rate this percentage, you know, moving forward. I don't know. I'm just going off what I believe in comparison to how the military is. Like, it's some people go in there, they don't even complete their first enlistment of 4 years. They get injured and they get medically discharged. And in boxing, if they allow them to get licensed off the couch and benefits was attached to it, I'm pretty sure they would take how many fights they had and how much their contribution was to whatever they're contributing, right? To basically set them up for that benefit once they get out of the boxing, get out the ring, and the formula will go from there. Whatever that formula is, Blunts, will provide how much they're going to get off or assistance with their copay when it comes to medical. Also, it'll depend on how much they're going to receive for the rest of their life as far as a stipend. It could be $200 if you only box for 4 or 5 years, and within that 5 years, you box twice a year, right? So that means, let's just say 5 years. Let's round it up. So let's just say in 5 years, you box a total of twice per year for a total of 10 fights within 5 years. Yeah, your shit gonna be low. your retirement stipend is gonna be low. But at least they can say, okay, within those fights, you bought in, you put in to get this benefit, this retirement. You put into it. So per law, we have to give you your benefits. You know what I'm saying? It's only right, man. It don't matter. You can't say a boxer has to box a minimum of 10 years. And just when he's coming up on his 10 year, he suffered a serious injury. Well, per the contract, look at the paperwork right here. Box D, right? Box D. Okay. It says if any injury occurs prior to the 10th year, the fighter deemed the beneficiary on this contract shall be non and void and released from any further compensation if he or she is incapable of fighting further or extending their boxing career past up to that point to get 10 years. It's basically telling you whoever the beneficiary is, if they haven't met the required time to receive benefits, more than likely they're not going to. I'm just making a far-fetched assumption, bro. A hypothetical situation. That's all. But that's a good question, though, man. I got to post that up there. It's a good question, though. Yoshino was undefeated and hadn't faced a southpaw since his pro debut. He is destined to go 6 or less with Shakur. Bro, it had nothing to do with the southpaw. It was all about who was managing the garden, bro. Who was checking on the tomatoes? Because freaking Yoshino was eating some of the freshest tomatoes you can get over there in Japan. All the way up to the point where he earned 16 victories off those tomatoes. Don't tell me the garden isn't real. You know, you ever heard blunts of the Garden of Life? Yoshino was benefiting off the Garden of Life. Remember, I told you that. Them tomatoes was fresh, juicy tomatoes. Real talk. When Yoshino started seeing those tomatoes be on his record, he said, oh my God. They're so colorful in texture. Can I continue to get these tomatoes, please? I just want to do it all the way up to, let's say 15 and 16 victories. And then I think I'm gonna take a long flight over to the US and get a big money fight over there. Fight one of their superstars. That's okay? Yeah, sure, Yoshino. No doubt about it. Yoshino got then build up his record, man, and on the flight he went. Don't tell me he wasn't picking for. These fighters can get together and create their own association. That's the way it's on. Hey, bro, I've been talking to people for years. It's not that easy. You have to have individuals that know people that are connected to attorneys, first and foremost. Attorneys. They need to know someone that is able, and you need money. You need some money. You just can't start this off with nothing. The fighter has to be willing. According to what the purses of these fighters, a lot of fighters are struggling right now. They don't want to put forth any money, you know what I'm saying, to get benefits on the back end. Now, of course, once again, if they was in the military, it'd be quite different, because in the military, we get paid in the 1st and 15th. We was guaranteed to get paid twice a month and have free medical and dental. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the case in boxing. You know, boxing, if you injured, that's why, you You have to have a medical checkup, and then the doctor has to check you after the fight. Okay, so you get help and assistance from fight to fight, from fight to fight. But where's the paperwork when a fighter is injured and he recovers and get cleared to fight again? And that one injury that you suffered 3 or 4 fights ago is nagging you. It might have been a fracture. It might have been something. Can you go back to that promoter and say, hey, you know that injury that I had to, be suspended for quite a bit. It's been nagging me. I was wondering, I wanted to go to the doctor. I can't help you, son. You already been cleared by medical. So once it healed and everything, I'm released from liability on that. These fighters can get together. Rolly was undefeated before he got stopped in 6. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Tomatoes grow in other countries and also in the U.S. Since boxing has tomatoes, it's one of their delicacies. Don't be mad when you see one. Answer the bell. Stop being mad, man. Tomatoes is one of the most prominent vegetables and sponsors of boxing. Don't be mad when you look on your favorite fight and go all the way back to when they began and you find out that they also was a tomato connoisseur. Stop playing, man. Stop acting like you don't know the tomato connoisseurs exist, man. They do. Yeah, man, I love Japan, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I love Japan. I did. I love Japan. I love their women, too. I love Japan, man. It was one point in time that I definitely knew I was going to stay in Japan. And then I thought about all the strip clubs I was going to be missing. I thought about all the culture. I thought about family. I said, there's no way I can stay over here right now. You know what I'm saying? But man, come on, bro. I was dating this chick who family had a restaurant, man. They loved me. She spoke no English, and they was curious as to know how their daughter was freaking. I was taking them down on my motorcycle and all that. How she was so in love with a tall black brother, and she ain't never had no American boyfriend. She didn't speak a lick of English. They was like, how are you? I was all about learning the language, man. Me and her got along great, man. But I couldn't do it. I would have been, they would have tried to have me over there working in the restaurant, bro. Scotty-san, you show up today? Scotty-san, you come to work? And then if I would have stayed over there, you talking about not having retirement and all that? No, bro. It was fun while it lasted, but God damn it. It's good old memories. Yoshino signed up. Teddy trained Michael Moore, so I believe he knows Shakur is far more dangerous than presented. Man, Teddy Atlas, he boxed too, right? Then Teddy Atlas boxed. I'm pretty sure it's been times where Teddy Atlas took punishment too, right? I'm pretty sure when he confronted Mike Tyson, he's not the entire story. Because, yeah, he confronted Mike Tyson. He was talking about blowing his head off. But I think Mike Tyson might have slapped him around and punched him in the freaking noggin a couple of times, too. I'm just saying. Teddy has to bring controversial to his platform. This is not the first time. Just think about when he was telling Michael Moore about firemen. You got to be a fireman right now. Fireman. And Mike was like, I am on fire. And that's why you're trying to motivate me to come out of it. I see the flames, God damn it. I know I'm on fire. I got your family on the phone, Michael. I got your wife on the phone. No, nigga, you don't have my wife on the phone. I told her if I'm at a fight and you call, don't ever pick up the phone if you see me on TV. So I know you bullshit me, nigga. Don't be trying to play me. I'm serious, Michael. Your wife is on the phone right now. I already had this conversation with her. her, Teddy. People already told me you might pull this stunt. I told her, if I'm in the ring and you see me on TV, don't pick up the phone. You understands me, mine? You can't run that on me, Teddy. Teddy tried to run that game on him. I got your family on the phone. Your grandmother's on the phone. Your great-grandmother's on the phone. You got to win. We know they all different. I'm just saying they are regulated to say in some way boxing is regulated, but that ain't stopped nothing. The commissions operate off separate entities. What I'm trying to say, Michael. We need regulations on the entire entity. If you regulate the sport as a whole, it ties up a lot of loose ends. It gets very, very dark because you just can't come up here and do what you want. Now, like I said before, who are you going to vote into those seats? And can those people operate with their integrity, morals, and principles and not be bought out? You know what I'm saying? Can those people not be bought out? I think boxing, the roots of boxing is so deep. Oh my God, it's no way I don't see how it's possible. Like, you have people out here with money, but it's not the money aspect. I believe they can consolidate a total price to buy these people out and create a commission, governing body, whatever they want, a single president. But it's all about, can that president operate in good faith? Stickum boys, what's good? Salute, big bro. WCS, the realest on YTC. Appreciate you for pulling up, bro. Real talk. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Hit the like button if you so desire. If you so desire. Let me see. Don't be scared of the like button. No doubt, man. D-Ray promotion on deck. What they do, D-Ray? How you feeling, bro? You know what I'm saying? It's the garden of life there, Blunts. Man, you know tomatoes, garden of life. It will always feed boxing. The garden of life will always feed boxing. They grow tomatoes every single day, I tell you. I'm not lying. There is a tomato being grown every day. When these promoters, these low to mid-tier promoters are putting on fights and they're looking for opponents, soft touches, they go to the garden of life. That's when they get that opponent that's making their debut and they pass the medicals, they make the weight. There you go. Another tomato is sitting at the table. You know what I'm saying? Another tomato is at the table. Don't blame that tomato. Blame the person that allowed them to continue to be cultivated. Allow the person that's managing the upkeep of the garden. You know what I'm saying? It's going over there picking these tomatoes and getting them through the damn medical department. Blame them, dog. There are benefits available. They have to look and apply, but it's out there. So for boxing, there's benefits available across the board. That's new information to me. I know in California, it's different over there because from what I heard, Bruce, in California, you can have them take a certain portion of your purse for that fight or something. And it allows you to receive pay for a certain period of time. You know, that's only fights in California or something like that. Please, if you got the EDU on that, let me know. I'm not sure. I wonder if some of these older boxing guys like Teddy Atlas be hating low key. Man, you gotta understand these guys has been around. Like, listen, people say it all the time. Think about the guys who hang out at the gym, and they've been hanging out at the gym for a long period of time. They done heard things like you wouldn't believe what is talked about at the gyms and on site at the fights when you eating, bro. It's always hearing something new. Like I told you all about the Kambosos situation. I told you all about the Kambosos situation. I told you what his manager said, man. People always want to talk about views, but they didn't want to respect the fact that I was talking to the actual team. When I told you all that he wasn't looking for Devin Haney. Who did I tell you he was looking for? Vasil Lomachenko. That's who Kambosos was looking for, because that was what was gonna, be so graceful over there in Australia. I told you all that. But not to get off topic. Many different changes in Social Security in the last couple of years. Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I have to do a little bit more research and read up on that, because I'm speaking more from an angle of overall, but it's never can be overall, because boxing just have so many pockets, different branches. They have different branches, man. I have to check into that, man. It'd be good if it can be regulated, but for Shakur Stevenson, man, continue to do what you're doing, that champ. Everybody, these boxers are never going to be able to have everybody on their side. You're not going to get people to be able to clap for you every time your name come up and you're going to be on the card. It's not going to happen. It's just boxing is like that. Boxing is one of those sports where the fans criticize you a lot. You can expect that as a fighter. So I've been on record as saying that I don't, I'm not paying close attention. I don't mind. I totally get it when boxers don't want to give you that love, because one minute they feel like somebody's supporting them, the next minute they're getting talked about. One minute you feel like you're getting support, and the next minute you're getting talked about, right? So I can understand why some of these boxers don't want to talk to media. I can understand why some of these boxers are assholes. But don't be an asshole just because you feel good being in character. I'm just saying, if you're going to be an asshole, allow that person to do something to you that provoked you to be in that position. Besides that, be a professional. Talk to the media. Do what you got to do. But once again, you have situations where everybody's not going to freaking like a fighter for going in there, producing the sweet signs. They're not going to. They're not going to appreciate that. Hell, you got people up here saying Tank ain't fought nobody, but yet he's steadily on pay-per-view, and he's basically giving you the entertainment value that you're looking for. So when it comes to him and Shakur Stevenson, they're giving you different entertainment value, with still the results being a win. Tank will give you the knockout in devastating fashion, and Shakur Stevenson will sometimes go the distance or break down his opponent. Where the criticism comes into play, in my opinion, with Teddy Atlas, I could see if he would have brought this criticism when Shakur Stevenson fought Toko Kanklari and Nakathila. Those two fights right there, Shakur Stevenson, it's almost like he was wearing the suit that Teddy Atlas gave him for beating Yoshino. Seriously. That in my opinion, you have to switch those frames up. If you would have coupled those two fights together, Toko Kanklari and Nakathila, and place them over here, I can understand what Teddy was coming at. But no, to say what you said, he was supposed to disperse of that tomato. He was supposed to, period. He did what he's supposed to do, got it done, out of there, on to the next. He's 20 victories in, 0 defeats, man. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Teddy Atlas, this is not going to be the last time that he says some controversial, remarks. This is not going to be the last time, bro. This is not going to be the last time. That's Teddy Atlas, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson, and you got Devin Haney. Devin Haney has the sweet signs. You know what I'm saying? So if you're saying Devin Haney isn't the overall power puncher that you're looking for, guess what? Then you have to find another sport, man. Everybody in mixed martial arts doesn't have a good grappling game. Every fight in mixed martial arts isn't capable of doing a spinning heel kick. Every fighter in mixed martial arts can't do a full split. You know what I'm saying? It's different all the way around, man. Every boxer doesn't have power, bro. But the boxers who possess the sweet science who can box, they're criticized for not having power. And being that power cannot be bought off Amazon, power cannot be built up just from going in there lifting dumbbells. You have to box the best way you know how to get the victory. That's all I could tell you. Shout out to Coach, man, on deck. True Meters Today, USA Boxing in the building, man. Salute to you, brother. Great show today, man. There's no exception for boxers. They are due many benefits, but they have to go get them. All right. Hey, Bruce, I'm gonna have to go research that, man. I didn't know. I know it's not a single union, a one-stop shop for boxers, but I understand what you're saying. Just like anything, like it's benefits out there that they have to go look for. I just see so many boxers that used to lace them up in the ring, and if you listen to them and you visually see what they're going through and the effects of their punishment, the residual effects and what it's turned into with the slur of speech, the loss of memory and everything, I don't think they know where to find those benefits. And let's just say they do find the benefits. Is it enough for them to have someone be a caregiver? You know, is it enough for them to pay someone to be a caregiver? Is it enough for them to go into the doctor and have a percentage of the copay taken care of by whatever that, you know, medical insurance is? That's what I'm saying. It might be some type of benefit out there, but if they need help, if they need caregiver help, that gets expensive, man. I'm not gonna lie. That shit gets expensive. Very, very expensive. Coach Bruce said, ask Yoshino about Shakur's power. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree. I agree, Bruce. Bruce talking trash. Hey, Bruce really don't talk no trash, man. You know what I'm saying? When he said ask Yoshino's about Shakur power. Hey, Bruce, they gonna come at you like this. They're gonna say, hey, come on, Bruce, man. It don't take much to poke a hole in a tomato, Bruce. If you then dump a tomato out into the street, man, out the window, and let's just say the drop is about 1.5 feet. When you pick that tomato up, man, it's gonna have a bruise on it, or it might be leaking. It don't take much for a tomato to get punished and broke up. I'm just saying, Bruce. I'm just saying, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. He said, ask Yoshino about Shakur's power. Dang, man. They're going to say, you're no longer allowed over here in Japan. Please exit as soon as possible, or else you will be sent to jail. Man. But, man, y'all been great, man. I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? We continue to do this. Once again, shout out to True Meet Today USA Boxing, man. Great live today, man. Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. Continue to support these guys in their efforts as content creators, as they continue to grow and spread the wonderful news of combat sports and boxing. You know what I'm saying? Myself, boxing, MMA, BJJ, Muay Thai. You know, even though I don't talk about it as much, I do socialize on other people's panel that talk mixed martial arts that people that's strictly boxing will never see. You know what I'm saying? I do participate. Big Blunts in Boxing. Y'all be sure to check him out. You know what I'm saying? And appreciate your Blunts, you know, for dropping that content behind the scenes. No doubt about it, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man, y'all hold it down, man. Don't mind too much what Teddy Atlas got going on. He's gonna continue to say crazy, crazy things as old as he get. I mean, Teddy's been through some stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? What I do like about Ted is when he's sometimes they be giving him the pre-fight. They say, okay, this is what a fighter needs to do. This is the things to do for this fighter. And then I remember when he used to do the combination, say, he needs to stick it with the jab and then come over the top with the right. Bang! And that is lights out. I used to like his pre-fight freaking tutorials that he was giving on each fighter, man, and what they needed to do. Their keys to victory. Okay, their keys to victory. Teddy would give some of the best keys to victory when he say, bang. He's sticking with the hook to the body, come up with the uppercut, and here with the left hook, bang. And that's all he needs. Let me see who you're talking about. Let me see. Hold on for a second, Bruce. Let me be nosy for a second. I'm gonna be nosy right quick, Bruce. Let me see. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I got you. Well, hey, Bruce, do they have a show fee? Bruce, do you charge a show fee? Hey, Bruce, you OG, Bruce, you gotta charge a show fee, man. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. You got Cash App or Venmo or freaking Zelle? You know what I'm saying? I've been around this game for a long time. I've been through many windows of boxing. You know what I'm saying? I have a show fee, a small show fee. You good with that? Yeah, that's gonna be 50 large. That's gonna be 50. That's the minimum going. 50 large, man. 50 with a decimal and 2 zeros. 50 large. Do you need me to give you my Cash App right now so we can make this happen? Yeah. You can't afford 50. You want me on your show, but you can't. Okay. All right, we'll talk about this another day then. Hey, tell him you ain't for free, Bruce. You got a show fee. Everybody got to get paid, man. Tell him you got to get a show fee, dog. Bro, you talking about you just hit 800 subs. How you don't have a stack already, man? I thought for sure you would have had a stack over there, bro. All them people that you have on your show, man. You know what I'm saying? I could have thought you had a stack already. But since you dropped that link, man, I'm gonna drop in and see what y'all talking about over there for real. But man, y'all hold it down. Appreciate y'all pulling up. And once again, make sure you see the notification out there. Be sure to tune into the channel. We do have boxing coming up, right? We do have boxing. It's an annual freaking sport. So we still have boxing coming up. We still have some fights coming up, especially Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, one of the biggest fights this year. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia is going down. It's going down in Vegas. The only thing we're hoping is that everything goes well, that Ryan Garcia is able to make the weight, and the rest of the freaking, the mattress, the Posturepedic pillow, you know what I'm saying, the pacifier, all the other things will be brought to the ring to lay him to sleep. Okay. Until then, y'all turn up and tune in, like, share, and subscribe to World Combat Sports. I'm out.